What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I am currently doing a collaboration video series with fellow YouTuber Dirty Side Gets Down. Now he's helping me tune the Holley Sniper EFI system on my 75 Dodge D100 hot rod shop truck project. In the last video, I did some driving and some testing to get some data logs over to Dirty Side Gets Down. I'll link to that video up here. Well, he's gotten back to me, and there's a few changes that he suggests be made. So the first change was he did some tuning of the AFR, the air-fuel ratio. Not a lot, just a little bit of tweak in there. And then he also did some tuning to the fuel map. Again, not a lot, just a little bit there. But there was one problem that he wanted me to address. So in the email he sent me, he said my map signal was really erratic. And he said, well, what that was causing was basically a mismatch between the throttle position sensor and the map. Like the two didn't jive. Like one was expecting the other to be something different. And what that was causing was just a bunch of fuel to get dumped in, causing a really rich condition. So he said what could be causing the erratic map was dirty power. So originally what I had was the pink wire off the Holley Sniper EFI. The pink wire, which is like switched power, was going to a bus bar that I have over there behind my ignition module. Now, ideally you would have that switched power be completely isolated, not share with anything else. I wasn't able to find, I didn't really have any place that I could have that completely isolated and not be shared. So what Dirty Side Gets Down suggested was that I run that switch power to a relay. And then that relay would put battery power directly in place of the switched power. Now the switched power would still control the Holley Sniper, but it would be getting cleaner battery power, just using that switch power to trigger that relay. So I went ahead and I did that. Now, I was hoping that that would help with the Holley Sniper staying on while I crank. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen. It still drops out on crank, and that's because that voltage drops to about 9.5 volts or so. I haven't been able to find a way to get clean, uninterrupted switch power. If you guys have any idea on that, let me know. I've rewired this complete engine bay, so things are a little different under there, according to the stock Mopar wiring. But if you guys have any suggestions on how to get a clean 12 volt uninterrupted while cranking power, let me know. I would love to have that hooked up to that relay, and that way my sniper would stay powered up while I'm cranking. So basically with the Holley shutting off while cranking, it's still only firing up basically on the prime from the fuel pump from when you first turn the system on. So it doesn't really have any cranking fuel or any like startup fuel going to it. The pump will run, prime the system, and that's basically all it's starting off of. All right, so here's the plan. I'm gonna do the same basic thing as I did in the last video. So I'm gonna start the truck up. I'll get the loggers running to get a cold start basically, and then I'll shut it down, or I'll get it up to temperature, about 170 degrees, shut it down, do another start, get those logs, and then I'm going to go do an acceleration run, a cruise run, and probably another full throttle at cruising speed because of that lean condition I was observing in the last video. So let's get the truck on, I'll get it started, and then I'll start logging. Right, fuel pump's running. Gonna start it. Not gonna do any throttle input or anything like that, even though it's not actually logging right now. I'll do start log. Alright, it's logging. Let that run for 30 seconds to a minute, something like that. The seatbelt is so annoying. It locks like all the time. I'm going to stop logging, and then I'm going to get it up to 170 degrees or so. Which in this Vegas heat shouldn't take long. That's not good. good either. I need to make mention of that it drops out when I come off the gas. All right, so now I'm about 170 degrees. I'm going to start it up. I'm going to do another log. I'm going to get a log of that. Then I'm going to run up to 2500. And then when I come off, I'm just going to come off and get a log of that shutdown so that you can see that log. So let's start it up. All right, log is running. I'm going to run it up to 2500 or so. Then I'm going to come off the gas and hopefully it'll stall so that we can get that log. It does drop lean when I come off it. Didn't shut down that time. I wonder if it only does it when it's cold. I'd like to get a log of that. Not as bad. All right, the log is stopped. Now I'm going to go do an acceleration run. Alright, I'm at the same location, freeway entrance, as I was in the last video. I'm going to start logging so I can get the acceleration run up the entrance ramp and on the freeway. I'm going to try to be a little more aggressive with this acceleration run. It's probably going to go lean, so hopefully I'll catch it. Alright, loggers are running. Here we go. There it goes. That log is stopped. I'm going to try to come up here, exit the freeway, turn around, go back the other way. We'll get up to cruising speed, and then I'll do the full throttle again, which is probably going to go lean. It's still going lean on me. Alright, so I'm back in cruising. Gotta start the log. Log is started. Now I'm going to do a full throttle. I'm at 75. I'm going to do a full throttle to get the logs. It's probably going to go lean. Above 3,500, like something's limiting. Like something's limiting it. I can't go full throttle. That is not happy at all. Well, that thing's pissed. I don't know why. It did not want to get above like 75 miles an hour under full throttle. It was hitting like 3,500 RPM. It just would not power. So I'm going to go in, pull the logs, pull the SD card out, upload those to the computer, and get those over to a Dirty Side Gets Down. And if you're not familiar with the Holley snipers or the Holley, I guess the Terminator X is probably the same thing. Here's the handheld, and there's a little card slot on the side. That's where your you can load configs to. That's where your data logs are saved to. So I'm going to get those over to Dirty Side Gets Down. All right, so I've been talking with Dirty Side Gets Down, and he's looked at the logs that I sent him, and he said it looks like there might be an issue with the fuel. He said the fuel flow went like way up, like way too much, way higher than what this engine needs. So wondering if the fuel pressure might have dropped off. So I'm gonna disconnect the sending unit, and then I'm gonna turn the pump on so I can drain the lines. And then I'm probably gonna pull the filter, which I'm not happy about. If there's junk in that filter after what I went through in this video up here, I am not gonna be happy. But I'm gonna pull the sending unit, I'm gonna pull the filter, and see if I can see what might be causing a fuel issue. And this is why I'm glad I made this access panel. Oh, don't think it's a fuel level issue. There's about 4 or 5 inches of fuel in the tank there, somewhere around there. So my fuel level gauge seems to be working all right, but I don't think that's the issue. So I'm now gonna put all this back together and go pull the fuel filter. On a side note, I did find a leaking valve cover gasket. That's got to be from when I was doing all the oil pump stuff, which I'll link to up here. So yeah, I get to replace a valve cover gasket. All right, so check the fuel tank. The pickup is good. The sock on the end of the pickup, perfectly clean. The sock is still there. There's about 4 to 5 inches of fuel down inside the tank. So there should be plenty of fuel. Maybe I may just throw some more gas in it. Maybe that, you know, there only being that much gas in the bottom, maybe that got pushed to the rear under acceleration and starved the pickup, maybe. Because I checked the fuel filters. I've got 2. I've got one right before the pump, and I've got one right before the sniper on the firewall. So I've got 2 fuel filters. Both are perfectly clean. The pump did sound like it was straining a little. I did notice that while driving and a little bit in the video. I don't know if you can hear it in the video just because of the wind noise. So maybe that pump was getting starved, possibly. So I think I will throw some more gas in it. I also cleaned up some wiring. There could have been some EMI, electromagnetic interference, caused by my spark plug wires and the sniper wires. So I did move the sniper wires, got them as far away from everything else as I could, repositioned my coil so the wires weren't going like over the top of the coil. So give that a shot. And I also replaced that leaking valve cover gasket. So I still got to run it to check that thing out. But the only thing left to do, I guess, is to get this thing on the road and try it again. I've been communicating all day with Dirty Side Gets Down. So he and I have been talking all day. He's the one that pointed out the wiring issue. And I said we were talking about fuel. I told him what fuel pump that I have. And he said that thing should be good up to like 600 horsepower, which I know there's no way that thing's putting out 600 horsepower. So my pump should be fine. The only thing I could think of what was causing, because I sent him the video clip, and he said it even sounds like a fueling issue. And looking at the logs and what he heard in the video, you know, with it not revving past like 3,500 and the way it was just surging, and it doesn't sound like fuel starvation or a fueling issue. So I think I'm going to go take my gas jug over to the gas station, get another 5-6 gallons, dump it in there, and go for another drive. probably tomorrow morning, because it's stupid hot here and I'm beat. I'm worn out. So yeah, we'll go from there. All right, so got another 5-6 gallons or so. Gonna throw it into the truck and take it out for another run. All right, back at the freeway entrance again. I'm gonna do another acceleration run. I'm gonna log this, then I'll do another cruising run, and then I'm gonna do a cruise to wide open throttle. Those seem to be the problem areas that I wanna get hashed out. So, we got the logger screen pulled up. Log is started. Here goes the acceleration run. Definitely running a lot better. I wonder if I was just getting fuel starved from that fuel going backwards in the tank. That pickup sits on the bottom of the tank. All right, stop the logs. That pickup does sit on the bottom of the tank, but they said there were 4 or 5 inches of fuel, but I wonder if it sloshes it back because that pickup faces forward in the tank. Maybe. I'm gonna get up to a vehicle for me, so it's going to be kind of hard to maintain this cruise. I'm going to do a cruise log now. Got a vehicle pulling a trailer in front of me. Alright, I'm going to stop the cruise log. And same as the other clips, I'm going to exit the freeway up here, get back on, heading back towards home. And then I'll get up to cruising speed, and then I'll do a wide open throttle from cruise and see if I got rid of that fuel surging, possible fuel starvation issue. Just from that little test, I think I did. It actually revved up above 4,000. So as before, it was kind of limiting at like 3,500, and I got up above about 85 on that little acceleration right there. So yeah, I think it's going to be fine, but I am going to log it as soon as I get turned around here. All right, I'm at cruise. Logger started. Doing about 72. Got her home, ran a lot better, still some issues. I'm gonna send those logs off the dirty side gets down, but my valve cover gasket is still leaking. So I used the one spare that I had, but I'm gonna have to open that up once everything cools, clean it up, and see if I can figure out what the hell is going on there. So I'm gonna get these logs pulled, send them over to dirty side gets down, and then wait for his response. In the meantime, you guys checked out my my D100 shirts? I mean, the Chevy guys, the Ford guys, you know, those C10, F100s, those guys seem to get all the love. So I decided to make a D100 shirt. So there are links down below. Go check them out. Support the channel and support the Mopar community. We are the minority when it comes to hot rodding, it seems like. So head on over, show your support, and let's see if we can show all these Chevy guys and Ford guys, show them what's up. Appreciate you guys for watching. Hit that subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you on the next one.